and I'm so impressed with how organized Liverpool are defensively.
Yeah, yeah.
I was watching that match, and I had just watched the Arsenal Chelsea match the previous day, and I'm telling you, I honestly felt ashamed. I felt ashamed of both Chelsea and Arsenal. I was like, learn from Liverpool. Look at how they're holding their line. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About the W. My name is Sky. Ash, our resident football expert, is here with us today. Hey Ash, how are you doing?
Hi everyone. I'm doing well. Slightly disappointed with the weekend, but doing well.
Yeah, I'm sure you are disappointed. I'm I guess, happy-ish Chelsea fan. There's a lot of uh, there's a lot more work that needs to be done, but happy that we came back with 3 points. But before we get started, I thought I'd ask you. We have our beginning segment where we discuss like camera problems, audio problems, video problems, and live chat problems as well. So, do you have anything that you want to sort of flag off before we get started?
Yes, I want to talk about the people of the match in the, or not people of the match, beings of the match in the Arsenal versus Chelsea game.
Oh,
The people with the best, the beings with the best heat map, the best work rate, and that is Pigeons. The Pigeons were the winner of this game. You know, when Chelsea came up for a free kick, there was one point where there were four or five Arsenal players lined up to defend, and then there were five Pigeons, all in a straight line, in perfect positioning to defend against Chelsea's onslaught. So and then the same Pigeons made their way across the pitch in front of the camera to to the Arsenal side. So they were box to box Pigeons. So
wow.
uh, so
Excellent work
Arsenal
rate.
is basically training the birds also to to be included. It's a multi-species team.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the pigeons of North London.
Yeah, multi-species is like very much your jam. They're probably
Yeah.
training their pigeons better than they're training their players, to be fair, honestly.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, I think maybe, you know what I'm thinking? Maybe we should like take a screenshot of this free kick and just put it as our thumbnail for the week. For the
Yeah.
video, that would be great. But you know what? Before we get started, I just wanted to ask all of our viewers and listeners to subscribe to our channel or to our podcast, wherever you're listening to it, wherever you're watching it. Please like our videos, comment on our videos. We would love to have some feedback and your thoughts on, the WSL matches and everything else. And we will try and bring you some reviews of UWCL, like championship games as well soon. But yeah, please do subscribe to our channel. That would be of great help. And I really hope you're liking our content, what we have to offer. So, Ash, do you want to get started? I guess probably with the Arsenal Chelsea game.
Yeah, absolutely. The Arsenal Chelsea game, my God, what a great game of football. I was, as a neutral, it was just an amazing watch. It was so much fun. Tactically, it was so much fun. It was so much fun to see Arsenal lose in every way. Like, it checked all the boxes of being an excellent football game. But, like, as the resident Chelsea fan here, Kai, I feel like I should give you first say. What what did you think about the game?
Uh, you know what? I'm not, I think I'm probably being a bit spoiled here by saying I wasn't super happy with the Chelsea performance, like despite having won. But yeah, there are a couple of tweaks that Bompasser can make for this team to perform better, and a couple of things that the players can do to be better on the pitch. But overall, I thought the game was fairly even. I thought Arsenal had the better of us in the second half. I think they just started out pretty poorly. They were very disorganized for the first, like for the first half as a whole. They were quite disorganized, and they conceded a couple of poor goals. And when you have a start like that against a team like Chelsea, it almost becomes an uphill battle. Like it's almost like a battle that's already lost in some ways. So yeah, I mean, I feel like they created enough to score an equalizer. Like, I mean, I was just looking at some of the stats, and they finished with an XG of 2.6, and that is like Arsenal's sort of like story of their lives in some ways, for the last couple of seasons where they're just not matching their XG. Whereas like a team like Chelsea had an XG of 1.1 and we scored 2 goals and we're constantly outperforming our XG, like being clinical in front of goal. Yeah, it's just gonna it's just haunting Arsenal at this point, not being able to finish. And everybody across that front line is struggling. It's not just Russo. um, Ford seems to be the only one who actually has the confidence to take on players. She looks like she wants to be there, and she looks like a forward, basically.
Yeah,
Like she's taking players on 1v1. She's just pulling the trigger. Arsenal really need to start doing that more. Like just shoot from outside the box, shoot from wherever. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. Like just start shooting. I think that's just so important. Mm, and generally, I also felt like Mariona could not really get into the game. I was surprised with the lineup. I felt like Blackstenius would have been a better choice, as a starting striker, because he's not been Blackstenius has been preferred over Russo for WSL games, and I thought he would go with the same, because you could see in the Man City game how much joy Arsenal got with just playing direct. And
yeah,
with a team like Chelsea, the back line is not the best. I feel like
yeah,
Man City's defense might be slightly better than Chelsea's. So you do want, there are no players we have with like excellent recovery pace or something like that. So Blackstone is literally going to outrun everybody in that back line. So I feel like they should have just tried and played direct, and they didn't do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, honestly, Arsenal, honestly, I didn't understand that game because to me it looked like in every way except for scoring, Arsenal were the better team. But like they just couldn't put the ball at the back of the net. I swear if the net was just like pasted to their face, they would still not be able to score. Because there were these two corners that they should have definitely scored on. Russo had several opportunities to score. Ford had two decent opportunities where I thought she could have done slightly better. At least one that she could have done slightly better on, even though I think she was by far their best player. In every way, uh, like apart from when they conceded the second goal, which was like defensively they were just all over the place in that second goal. But after they conceded the second goal, there was like a brief 10-minute period in which Arsenal were just like in sixes and sevens. They were all over the place, like positionally unaware, that they'd lost their shape. I think they just kind of lost their heads for like a good 10 minutes. And like the midfielders were clattering into each other, and there was so much confusion in the midfield. But I thought that like they recovered from that uh, by around, even before the second half started, like by around the 30th minute. I thought they like this goal was like in the 20th minute or something. It was like in the first 20 minutes, and then for 10 minutes they were just all over the place, and then they sort of recovered, and from then on it was mostly just Arsenal, with Chelsea getting a few opportunities on the counter. But I was really surprised at the scoreline because I felt like Arsenal maybe deserved a draw because of
Hmm.
how they played really well. They just didn't score, and that's just. But the thing is that at the end of the day, you're only like goals win games. So I think once Chelsea scored early, like we talked about in our preview, right? The team that scored early, like Arsenal, when they don't score early, then they start making these mistakes and they sort of like lose their heads a little bit. So I really wonder if someone just needs to like work on their mentality as well, because uh, it felt like even though they had so many opportunities, they didn't have the confidence to take them. Like they didn't have the confidence to just go for it. I Coming back to the Blackstenius point, I did feel like when she came on, Arsenal seemed like invigorated, even though they didn't score. Like she didn't score, she hit the post once, and like her movement just felt better than Russo. Maybe that's a confidence thing as well, because possibly Russo is low in confidence. But I just wonder if it's time to consider dropping Russo and just playing Blackstenius from the starting, and then bringing Russo on later in the game, and let her gain confidence as the season goes on. Um,
Yeah.
I will say the like Little had a very like the midfield, Arsenal midfield, even though they had a lot of opportunities, they didn't have incisive passing like into the final Chelsea final third. I felt like Kim Little could have done a better job, but I do feel like the Chelsea midfield also is not much to talk about. So um,
Oh, I
like
have things to say about it.
I do think that Arsenal won that midfield battle. Like, and they still lost the game. So Chelsea can take heart from that. I will say I feel like you were a little, like you're a little harsh on Chelsea, maybe because they're your team. I feel like, the fact that Chelsea haven't even hit the fifth gear, like they're in like gear three and they're still winning games, just to me proves that there's just nobody to beat Chelsea. Like, to me, they stand out far and away the title contenders after this game,
Yeah.
because I just felt like the way they sort of uh, like the way they saw this game out and got the 3 points, it just to me shows so much maturity. Hats off to Sonia Bampaster. I think she made all the right decisions. Even the subs, like Ramirez, for example, was injured in the first half, and my God, Ramirez, what a player! What a player! I'm just so impressed by her. But like, coming back to Sonia, um, like she subbed her out early, and I was very impressed with how she's doing her player management, because clearly Ramirez is an important player for you, and you have a lot of games in this season.
Yeah.
So since you're still in all competitions, so I think that like there's nothing in that game tactically or managerially that I disagree with. I know you have problems with Lucy Bronze,
Mhm.
but I thought that
Yeah.
Sonia did a really good job.
I think I just have honestly, I think you're right in that maybe I'm being a little too harsh because I mean it's not just I think it was somebody on Twitter had tweeted, I think it was Jessie Parker Humphreys, who's a journalist. They tweeted saying how in the same fixture last year, Chelsea had only like 3 or 4 players from their current starting 11 that played that match, whereas
Yeah,
Arsenal had 7 or 8 players in that same starting 11. So obviously, there's been a lot of turnover in the Chelsea
yeah,
squad, and these are like honestly, you were talking about how Arsenal players were clattering into each other. Same was happening with Chelsea. Like it happened with Bright and Buchanan at one point. It also happened with Captain and Brighton at one point. There's clearly a lack of communication, and those relationships need to be built. So I am not too worried. I think the only I mean, the concerns that I have are like the turnovers in the midfield. Like I feel like the passing just has to be better from Nuskin and Keptine. Like they
yeah,
both had like a 74 and 72% passing accuracy, and that's just not good enough if you're in the central midfield and if you're a defensive midfielder. So
yeah,
those are dangerous parts of the pitch where you turn over the ball, and you don't want to hand those opportunities to like a side like Arsenal.
yeah,
As far as Lucy Bronze is concerned, I think I was just a little. It was very obvious from very early on that we were going to be a little conservative in how we approached. Like Bronze wasn't going to bomb forward, and the attack was probably going to go through Baltimore. So that was a plan, and fortunately, we got to stick to that plan. And I just felt like maybe then it would have been a better idea to have like a player like Ashley Lawrence, or I would have honestly preferred F. Perise to play at right back for that match. But of course, there are a lot of factors because Perise for me is like just a more defensively minded player. Like she's very good positionally. She's not the fastest player, which means like she has to be positionally really good. So like I rate her quite a bit, but Pastor doesn't seem to like she can't seem to get a sniff the poor thing. So I don't know what the deal is there, but yeah, I might for a match like this I might have preferred Perise over Bronze in that position. And the other factor with Bronze is she has played. practically every match at this point in the season. And we have to remember that she is 32 years old, which means one does have to she already, we know she has had a couple of surgeries on her knee and things like that. So we want her fit and firing towards the end of the season. You don't
Hmm.
want to like run her to the ground so early on in the season. So that's another thing. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is there, but it's just very odd to me. It's not like we don't have depth in that position.
Honestly, I just feel like maybe like if you're going to be setting up defensively against Arsenal, I think that Sonia knew that possibly that you'd be scoring on the counter a lot, or it would be a box to box game. And I feel like Bronze provides you that outlet, right? Like, and also she's capable of scoring and capable of assisting. So these sort of things give you an extra something when you're choosing a defensive player,
Yeah,
especially when like even the fine margins matter against big teams like Arsenal and
yeah,
City. So I do think that maybe that sort of is running through her mind and that's why she's playing Bronze. And clearly it's working because she seems to have the uh like you seem to be gathering results, and she seems to have confidence in the player. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like
Maybe, yeah, you're
unless
right
Bronze
about
does
this set
something
pieces
wrong,
thingy. Huh?
unless Bronze does something wrong, like I feel like
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyway, like people are really harsh on Lucy Bronze. Like any small mistake she makes, I think is just like kind of attacked on like social media and like to some extent in the media as well. But yeah, I think the set piece point is fair. I think she can be really dangerous from set pieces and can defend set piece as well. So that's a definite advantage. But yeah, that's just about the only concern that I have. And generally how we look in attack, it's still not fluid. Chelsea's still not there yet. I
my
don't
God, these
know.
Chelsea fans scoring 7 goals and then 3 goals and then
That was
complaining
against
about the Chelsea
Palace.
attack. I just sorry.
No, I'm really concerned about like my concern is probably about Lauren James. I think I'm really yet to figure out how Bompasser wants to like fit her into the system. But yeah, I think there's a lot of players coming back from injury. Macario is coming back from injury. We'll have to see how these things kind of play out, because Wrighton now is like sort of not a touchline hugging winger anymore. Like she's cutting in quite a bit. So yeah, we'll have to see. Again, like I think it's not until like November, December that we'll figure out what Bompasser really has in mind. Probably it'll take for things to solidify until after the winter break. But yeah, I think that just about covers Chelsea, Arsenal. Do you want to move on to Liverpool versus City? That was a fun game.
Yeah, it was a really nice game. I mean, Shaw scored a brace and a late winner, and Olivia Smith got a goal. I enjoyed that game because I thought that it was a it wasn't I wouldn't say it was a fairly even contest. We all knew City were going to have more of the possession and more of the ball and more of the chances, but I thought it was still an interesting tactical battle, and like Liverpool held out for that draw for much longer than any of us thought they would. What did you think of the game?
I thought it was, first of all, like, it's the first goal Liverpool women have scored at Anfield. Like, they keep playing at Anfield and they keep losing they even lose to Everton at Anfield. It's really like Merseyside derbies. They somehow managed to lose all of their Merseyside derbies. But, you know, um, I think generally I thought the atmosphere was really good. Like, I do want to give props to like the Liverpool fans for turning up. I don't know the exact numbers, but at least on the
Yeah.
YouTube stream I could really hear the fans, and I'm sure that was a big boost for like the Liverpool players as well. uh, in terms of the game, I thought Liverpool started out quite bright. Like, they had quite a few opportunities in the beginning of the game, like in the
Yeah.
first, I'd say about 30 minutes or so. I think we briefly discussed Liverpool ka press last in their last game, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I thought that kind of continued in this game as well. Like the press was like City were struggling to play out
Yeah.
from the back, even play through them. They sat in a mid block every now and then, and playing through them was also pretty difficult for City in the first half. So I thought, uh, you know, um, like Matt Beard was not on the touchline, like he was unwell.
Mm.
So I was wondering how things would have looked if he was actually on the touchline, in terms of morale and things like that. But my God, a big, big shout out to Olivia Smith. I am becoming a fan very quickly. It's like the goal was great. It was, it was a very good effort. Yamashita could have done better, but it was really, like, the goal was great. But the hustle, like, the
Yeah,
girl tracks back, her defensive work is exquisite. Like, she put in the sliding tackle, I think on Hemp or Wahabi, I'm not sure, in the fifth minute. And
yeah,
like, it just shows even the goal. I mean, she created it on her own. Like, she won the second ball, just carried it and scored the goal. And I just love the energy that she's bringing to that Liverpool team. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
I swear, I also feel like I think Wahabi had a terrible time keeping pace with her, because even before she scored, there was this ball over the top that she got in, and Wahabi was sort of like chasing her, and like there was no chance she was getting to like the
Yeah,
ball first, and Smith was just like one on one with the goalkeeper. I mean, it's a pity she didn't score that, but like just that movement and the confidence that it seems to be growing there. I really hope that she becomes like a stalwart for Liverpool, because it's just she's just an exciting player, and I'm really happy to
yeah,
see Liverpool sort of, because honestly I think personally that Liverpool are playing better than United. I think they
mm.
should permanently snatch that fourth spot from United.
No.
So
Yeah,
I want Liverpool fans love that. So
yeah.
so
I
I
think
just
Liverpool sometimes tend to be a little inconsistent. So I don't know how the league is going to look when we go further into the season and in the next
yeah,
few seasons. But like right now, the fact that if you want to finish in top four, you might not want to drop points against, say, a West Ham, that
yeah,
Liverpool have, and a Leicester that Liverpool have already done. Those are things that are a bit. But then they'll go and like beat both Chelsea and Arsenal. That's what's going to happen.
yeah,
See, we
yeah,
know it's
yeah.
going to happen this season.
Yeah, I feel like Liverpool's the team that most likely will get the upsets, and I also think that United are deceptively looking good. So I have a feeling they'll drop points as well. Like it'll happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen eventually.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I really rate this Liverpool. Like the team is very well organized. It's very like their defense is very good. I want to see them doing even better and moving up a gear, because I feel like they have it in them. Like
Yeah.
we have not seen the best of Liverpool yet.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think, you know, last season I think their strength was being this defensively, like, organized.
Yeah,
This season I think Olivia Smith, and we see Mia Enderby also coming. She's like a really exciting young player as well, and she's also coming in, like, off the bench. And I feel like these two players can really offer that, because even the midfield, like with Roman Haug and Hobinger, I think they
yeah,
look good there. So, like, Olivia Smith in many ways solves that attack problem for Liverpool, to
yeah,
play that counter-attacking football. So it's going to be really exciting, and I'm so impressed with how organized Liverpool are defensively.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I was watching that match, and I had just watched the Arsenal Chelsea match the previous day, and I'm telling you, I honestly felt ashamed. I felt ashamed of both Chelsea and Arsenal. I was like, learn from Liverpool. Look at how they're
yeah.
holding their line. Like, nobody's playing anybody on side. Everybody's just like, it's so impressive. They're throwing their body on the line. Um, I'm big fan of this Liverpool team, man. Like, I can't tell you. I really
Yeah,
hope they finish
yeah.
above United.
I mean, same here, but we have to talk about City as well.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, of course,
Hemp,
yeah.
Hemp and Bunny Shaw. My God, that partnership is just like if Hemp could put away some of the goals, like opportunities that she gets, that partnership is just killer. Like Hemp was just tearing up that on the left, he was just tearing it up. Like
Yeah.
and like some of the passes like between the two of them and those 1-2s that they were doing inside the Liverpool box, I was just like, you know, and Bunny Shaw is now like in full prime form. Like she's been
Yeah.
scoring and she scored a brace in this game as well. I
Hmm.
just cannot speak enough of the City attack. I know
No,
they
but that's
struggled
the
to
thing, though,
score the first
Ash.
time.
Like, I don't think Bunny Shaw is even there yet in terms of fitness. Like, I was watching her back to goal play, which is probably, I don't know, I think she's probably the best in the league, like up there with like
Yeah.
Myra and Russo. And like even her ball control and just like her passing, all of it, it still feels a bit sluggish. So
Yeah.
just like the thought of Bunny Shaw hitting full fitness, scary, real
Yeah.
scary prospect. Yeah. But yeah, the other thing that I wanted to kind of flag off about this City team is, they looked a bit slow in the first half, and it really made me wonder about the midweek game that they had against Barcelona. Also, City
Yeah.
beating Barcelona, wow, moved. Um, but it was such an intense game. The defensive work everybody was putting in, like a reason why I love Lauren Hemp is that she will run and run and run. Like her defensive like game is just on point. Like that's like your dream winger, who will just track back and defend beautifully. And I think the entire team was excellent defensively against Barcelona. And a game like that will really take it out of you, like physically
Yeah.
and emotionally. And I was wondering how much of it, like I'm really curious to see how they juggle this Champions League and league games. It's going to be really interesting because I do feel like that was a factor. And when you
Yeah.
go further into, like, you're going to have injuries, and when you go further into the season, you're going to have like quarterfinal games, semi-final games, which are just going to be packed in with like Conti Cup, FA Cup, all these different fixtures. So it's going to be really interesting how Gareth Taylor manages that squad. It's going to be
Yeah.
exciting to watch out. Yeah.
Yeah, we look. I think it's going to be an exciting season. Coming to the next game, Palace versus Brighton. Bruno Villamala scored in the 35th minute, getting Brighton the win. Uh, Scruffy game, do you think? How do you think it went?
Yeah, it was a bit scrappy. Like, it was. Um, I thought Brighton did not look as bright as they normally do. At least they have in this season so far. And the goal was a bit sus. Like, I think Paris clattered into Sheyanes, and I don't know. I'm not sure about that goal. Like Palace players and the manager also seemed very upset by it, the fact that it
Yeah.
was given a goal. But yeah, I think overall, like I thought Palace looked really good. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was because like Brighton did not expect that kind of intensity from Palace, but which would be really silly because we've seen how good Palace can be last week. But in this game, you didn't see those things like the thing that we've been saying, about mentality. They're slowly growing into the league, and you can see that. And they had so many opportunities, Ash, like on the break. They looked super dangerous. And the one thing I would probably want Palace to do, if not anything else, is to just get a like just have some composure in the box so that you can score, because a
Yeah.
team like Paris is not going to have too many opportunities. So they have to
Yeah.
be a bit clinical.
I mean,
um
to be fair, a team like Arsenal can't score, so
yeah, fair
that's
enough.
expecting a lot from Palace.
Mm. Yeah, I think I just like waited for you to make that statement. No, take that dig at Arsenal, right? But yeah, I think from like a Brighton perspective, I kind of felt like they really missed Pattinson, because
Yeah.
you had Chankovic coming in, and you had Ollie Sluggers, I think that's her name, who went out a bit wide in the midfield. I felt like, Brighton's possession, like they weren't able to hold on to the ball. There were big stretches of the game where they weren't
Yeah.
able to hold on to the ball. And I think that's because Pattinson was missing, because she's somebody who dribbles and carries the ball forward.
Yeah.
And I felt like they were lacking her, but she's suspended, so they'll just have to wait for her to come back. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
I
that's
really
about
think
it. Yeah.
Palace are getting used to the pace of the league. I think that's what's
Hmm.
happening. So, like we said last time, it was physical fitness, but it's also like mental agility. So
Yeah.
I feel like now that they're sort of gotten used to mentally used to how fast the league is, they're sort of
Yeah.
like getting their groove back, like Stella, and like I do have to point out like a special mention to the two goalkeepers in the game. but especially the Palace goalkeeper. Like the Palace, Shea Yanis, like her positional, she has this exceptional positional awareness. And, you can see it from, apart from that Chelsea game, you can see it in almost every game that Palace have played. Like in the Spurs game as well, they would have lost some 7 or 8 nil if not for Shea Yanis. And
Mm.
even after that, against West Ham as well, I think that was West Ham? Yeah, it was West Ham, right? Um, like she's just
Leicester,
done an
huh?
exceptional job. And like whatever Palace's fate is in the WSL, I reckon that if another team is really smart, that she'll be picked up by a better team.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I feel like,
And
is there, yeah, go on.
Sophie Bagley as well. I think I've always been very impressed by her. Her shot stopping is
Yeah.
exceptional. She's also a phenomenal goalkeeper. I think Giannis is up there with like some good lower tier teams. Sorry, not lower tier, but lower half of the table
Yeah.
teams like Brosnan, Bagley, and Yanina Leitzig is also really good. And now Yanis is joining that group of goalkeepers who are just like who just have to be good at shot stopping because they're gonna face like 20 shots a game, sometimes, which can be really grueling. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
Bagley
interesting.
has to be good. I think Bagley had Brighton the way they defend. Like there's just no like
Yeah,
Bagley
yeah.
has to be good. And I also feel like Brighton themselves will move forward. So if the chances of Bagley being stolen by some other team are
Hmm.
less because Brighton themselves will progress. So
Correct. Yeah,
I just think that Brighton will manage to retain her in a way that Yanis may not be retained by Palace.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Maybe we can move on to United versus Spurs. United beating Spurs 3-0 at the Lee Sports Village. Brace, finally, Elizabeth Holland scoring and getting me some fantasy points. Girl, thank you. And Letizier getting a penalty. Also, thank you, a defender scoring a goal. Excellent for my fantasy team. But, Man United, they've been quietly going about their business. I think last season it was a bit crazy for them. There was a lot of spotlight on them not finishing in the top four. Mark Skinner, fans calling for him to be sacked, and that terrible, terrible performance at Old Trafford to close the season out. And you had like a bunch of players who left the club as well. So I think it's maybe good for them that they're not in the spotlight now and they're quietly going about their business. Maybe it's good for their morale. Um, and there's also the other stuff that's going on behind the scenes with new ownership and how they're treating the women's team. I think the criticisms are all very, very valid. Maybe something we'll discuss in an episode in the future. Um, but in this game, I think they were pretty much in cruise control. Like Spurs did not really trouble them too much. I think Fallon Tallis Joyce, I might be eating my words here, and not here, but my old words from previous episodes, which is I wasn't sure about her as a goalkeeper, but she now is the goalkeeper that has like the most clean sheets in the league. And United have still are yet to concede a goal this season, which is very interesting. Um, but she had to make a couple of saves. It's it's been they've not had like too many difficult fixtures. I'm guessing the Chelsea game would have been one of them, but obviously we know like that got postponed. But
Yeah.
as the resident Spurs fan, Ash, what do you think went wrong for Spurs?
So I will say this in the starting. United did not play well. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Spurs played badly. United, like, yes, United have now developed a little bit of a relationship between, Turland, Bizet, and Clinton. That's been working out for them in all of the games, which is why, like, Turland finally figured out where she should stand so that Clinton and Bizet can supply her. So I think that that's been sort of sorted. So that was a positive for them in this game. But I will say this: the reason United won is because Spurs played so badly. Like in the first, they started brightly. I thought Spurs, like I thought they had a bunch of opportunities in the starting. But I think it is time to drop Martha Thomas. Like when I first saw the team sheet, I was happy that they were playing with England and Thomas both. But Martha Thomas has just been really bad in front of goal. And when she's not scoring, she's not providing anything. Like with England, when she doesn't score, she's still providing other things. She's
Hmm.
providing assists, she's giving movement, she's dragging defenders away. There's other things that she's doing for the team. But when Martha Thomas is not scoring, I don't see a lot else that she's providing. Even her hold up play, when she has low confidence, it goes down. So I think it is time to drop Thomas. And and I'll also say this: when Spurs score an early goal, then everything is peachy and rosy and wonderful. When Spurs concede an early goal, for 9 times out of 10, like they're losing that game. So I don't know. There's a mentality problem there. Like I felt like after the first 20 minutes, Spurs just gave up. Like they were just like, this is United's game. And by the time that penalty happened, we had long past lost that game. So irrespective of whether it was a handball, whether it wasn't a handball, how you felt about it, I like that is not even important to the actual result of the game. I don't think United deserved a 3-0 victory. It wasn't that amazing a performance from United. I just thought that like Spurs just handed it to them in like a gift wrap bag. um Spurs didn't defend very well. They lost the midfield battle.
Yeah.
I thought that they could have done so many things better. But like Rob's also like trying different things. He tried to change the formation a little bit in this game. He tried to bring on England and Thomas to play together. But this is the problem he had last season also. He has to solve this problem. It's not like the
Yeah.
team has changed a lot in terms of like there have been new players who've come in, but the setup hasn't changed too much. So if you haven't
Yeah.
solved this problem yet, then you're not going to be able to solve this problem in the future. You've had a year now. It's time.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's fair point. I mean, I guess from after the winter break, England has been fairly fit to start a game, and it's weird that he still hasn't solved the problem. I think Spurs fans can rightly be a bit frustrated with that. Also, Oro's getting dropped out for Artanen in
Yeah,
the
I don't
midfield.
think that was fair on her because she's not
Hmm.
done badly. I think that was a tactical thing because I think he felt like United would be on more on the attack, so maybe they wanted someone
Defensive, right? Yeah.
defensively. But I felt like he got the like when I saw the team, I wasn't unhappy with it. But I think Thomas made it feel like we were playing with 10 people. So
Yeah.
I think that made a difference. Moving on to because like this, there's no
Yeah,
point
you're
talking
done.
about
I can tell.
Spurs midfield. Aston
Yeah.
Villa versus Leicester. It was a nil-nil game. So Villa is still struggling to score, and they'll probably be disappointed with that, especially against a team like Leicester. Everton versus West Ham was 1-1. So West Ham, Denton scored in the early in the first half, and then Everton scored in the second half through a size own goal. I think that's a fair expectation from both teams.
Yeah.
Um, that
I
covers
did
all the
not
things.
get to catch that game. Yeah, but hopefully we'll get to sort of properly review one of the West Ham games because I do want to see how they're playing. Hopefully, in the upcoming fixtures, we can do that. Maybe we can do a quick round of predictions for next week.
Yeah,
We have
go for
all
it.
six fixtures. There's no delay or postponement or anything, thankfully. So the first fixture is Brighton versus Manchester United.
Um, you know what? I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton.
Ooh, ooh. Okay. Ash coming in hot. Wow. Okay. In line with Ash's take that United just are, well, pretending to play well. They're not really playing well. Or at least their score lines show, like, are just flattering, right? Um, I'm going to go with maybe a 1-1 draw, hopefully. Like, I don't know. I want United to draw points. 1-1 draw there. Man City versus Aston Villa.
Um, 3-0 City.
Yeah, I really want Villa to start scoring again. Like 3-1 Villa, just like score a goal. Don't struggle so much. Liverpool are hosting Palace.
1-0 Liverpool.
Ooh, you know what? I think Liverpool might drop points to Palace. I just have a feeling. So I'm gonna go 2-2. Yeah, 2-2.
Oh, 2-2.
Leicester versus Everton. Wow, another mid off. Yes, Leicester versus Everton.
0-0.
You know what? I'm gonna go. Leicester are finally gonna like get a win. Maybe I think maybe 3-1 Leicester. West Ham are hosting Arsenal.
Oh my God. It's just maybe 1-0 Arsenal, because I mean, I don't see how they'll score more than one goal. West Ham will sit back. Honestly, actually, what 1-0 West Ham? Why not?
Because they did lose this fixture last year.
Yeah.
Arsenal, and they do have a midweek game, I think, against Valerenga. So maybe that might be an opportunity for them to get a bit of their confidence back. I don't know how Valerenga really play. I've not quite seen them play, but if they are a team that's going to sit back, and who wouldn't sit back against Arsenal? It is literally the one thing you can do and like ensure yourself a good game. So I think it'll be like a 2-1 Arsenal. It's going to be a tight game, I feel. If West Ham defend well. So I'd say maybe 2-1 Arsenal. And the last game, it is a it is an all about the W derby. It's Chelsea versus Spurs.
Oh wow. Yeah. uh, can I say 4-0 Chelsea?
Back your team, man. What the hell?
Fine. Okay, I'm gonna go 2-2 draw.
Oof, oof. Okay. I wonder if I think this fixture might be played at Stamford Bridge. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 3-2. No, 2-1 Chelsea. Like I think it's gonna be a tight game. Like we're clearly making hard work of all matches. So um 2-1 Chelsea. Hopefully we don't lose this first. Because the vibes are going to look very bad.
Oh
You
my
know what?
God,
The
next
vibes will be good.
episode, if Spurs win, next episode is just going to be me. It just be me the
Yes.
whole time.
And I'm just gonna be very quiet for 40 minutes. That's what's gonna happen. But yeah, interesting set of games. I'm really. Which ones are you looking forward to the most? I think maybe Brighton United might be an exciting one. Of course, Chelsea Spurs.
Yeah, Chelsea, Spurs,
And
Brighton, United. I everything but Arsenal, West Ham. Like I'm
you
that
know
that
what?
game's going to be such a stinker. No.
I beg to differ. I think it might make for like an interesting hate watch. Who knows? But yeah, I think that's just about it from us this week. We'll come back next Monday or Tuesday with some more game week reviews. We'll try and talk about the Champions League a little bit during that episode as well. But for now, just want to remind you guys to like our videos, to subscribe to our channel, um, and leave us your thoughts and comments, some feedback, all of the good stuff. We'll catch you again next week. Bye.
Bye bye.